What's up, my fellow crypto brothers and sisters? I am the Crypto Bull God, and this right here, this shit's all in the charts. So if you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, click that bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live. Josh, let's fucking go! We're about to enter the fourth quarter. By the way, I'm going to put this in the stream. Good to see you, Josh. Please drop your private keys. No, please drop your TA questions. All right, because lately I feel like, I don't know if people don't have any TA questions, but Tuesdays and Thursdays I do TA Q&A, and it's either a little bit silent and no one's taking the advantage to have me chart, or at the 9th hour, literally right before I'm doing cutoff, it's like last call at a bar, 6 questions come in right at 30 minutes into the stream. So if you have TA questions, I don't have a million people listening. There's not going to be a ton of comments here unless if Evan joins. So feel free to drop them in the comments box and we'll get to them. I hope everyone's been having a good start to the week. I am I'm ending my Tuesday with just a little glass of really good Cabernet. The real SR, let's fucking go. An H-bar update. We can absolutely do an H-bar update. Guys, let's get into some charts today. What do I want to take a look at? Let's take a look at Bitcoin, why don't we? You can see we're seeing some green for the most part within the top 10 here. Things are looking nice. If we take a look at the mid caps, mostly green. Caspa's surprisingly red, although I don't anticipate that to last much longer. The meme coins, some of these meme coins are starting to move. WIF is having a nice day today. I would anticipate Brett. I don't know if you saw. Okay, we're up 5.5%. Wojak's been having a nice run too. You know, the crypto meme triple threat. Before we get into Bitcoin here, let me let me get to the Brett chart real quick. Brett here, and I thought I had this drawn out different. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you. This is a Brett versus Pepe chart. Now, again, this doesn't have to play out, but what this pattern is signaling to me is that Brett may potentially have a massive breakup against Pepe's price, meaning this chart is telling me there's a high likelihood that Brett is going to outpace Pepe. We'll have to see if that does occur. WIF has finally gotten back up to the $2 range. Depends if you want to draw this on a 1 week or 2 week to see if we're pressing up against the descending line. I have this drawn on a weekly. $2 is a psychological level, so it'd be nice if we could hold that area. But it's not until we start pushing above the 270 and 430 level that I'm going to start to get a little bit more excited on this chart. So just remain patient here. I'm actually going to move this down for a little bit more price confluence right there at about 360. Once we start clearing 360, I'll feel good about WIF. But you guys know I am holders. You can see I have all sorts of charts up here to assess the strength for good reason. This is my target for Wojak. These are the 3 memes. I'm not going to say that they're the only memes that I own because I have a couple small balances and some other tokens, but those are the 3 main ones that I own. Now, I got to tell you, right now, Bitcoin is holding up better than I was anticipating, to be honest with you. So far, if we are to look at a weekly chart, we're green at the moment. Again, as I've shared with you, we can have a red week. We can end this week with a doji. We could be slightly red. It's still bullish. You have to zoom out and look at all the things that we discussed on Sunday. Sunday, if you didn't catch it, I think was a very informative live stream. Make sure that you catch that. Just did that 2 days ago. Covered a broad range of topics in terms of how we're shaping up going into October. I also shared my thoughts in terms of when in the fourth quarter we're truly going to start to see some exciting price action come into this market. But right now, Bitcoin's holding up great. Now, do want to level set, guys. Okay, this line here, right here. Okay, we'll make it blue, like down here. This is the last swing high, right? So in order to feel convinced that we're really starting to turn things around. As much as I do believe that's the case, we've got to clear the $65,000 area. I'm really targeting 65.6. That's the area I've spoken to. Now, again, it's completely fine. I want to, kind of set the stage here. Here's another major swing low here, but let's keep it here. We could do something like this. We could roll over and come down to this area, into this $60,000, $59,000 area, and then come right back up. If we were to do that, what do we have? We still have all these higher lows coming in, right? So don't lose that perspective. If you see Bitcoin this week down at 59 or 58 or 60,000 or 61 or 62, we're still in really good shape. It's all about clearing 65.6. And you know that I've shared with you, 65.6, in my opinion, is not where things are really going to start to escalate pretty quickly with price. It's this blue area. Once we get up to 68, we literally have less than 10% to go until clearing our all-time high. Again, targeting, based on Sunday's live stream, I'm targeting $85,000 to $92,000 sometime within the fourth quarter of this year. I got pretty specific on the live stream on Sunday. So this chart's looking great. This 12-hour chart. I got to tell you guys, the other beautiful thing about this, one of the things that we hit on Sunday, which the chart has had follow through here, which is great to see. Price action has maintained itself above the pink 200 simple moving average. Look what's going on with that purple line. That purple 50 is wanting to cross above the 200. That's what we want to see. Now, not only do we want to see the 50 cross above the 200 for what's called a golden cross, but very importantly, this 200, you can see how we were slanting down here. Notice how we've leveled out. These are all these little intricate things you need to pay attention to as a technical analyst that a lot of other people don't talk about. So because price action in short has maintained, in brief, has maintained its price action above the 200, it's causing this to curl up and this to flatten out. And it's setting up beautifully for a potential golden cross very early in October, which would be very good, because what is one of the things that I routinely speak to on this channel? When we have the low time frame bullish momentum picking up, what happens? It bleeds into the higher time frame. So the 12-hour bleeds into the daily, bleeds into the 3-day, bleeds into the weekly, okay? So we want this 12-hour to continue turning around the way it is. It looks great. Now, Tao, I'll tell you what, I haven't seen Greg on this live stream in God knows how long, Black Oil. Shout out to Black Oil. Hopefully you're catching these in syndication. I was thinking of Greg earlier this week because Tao has been having a really nice run. I don't have the actual Tao. Let me get the Tao chart up for you guys. Tao's been having a great run. It's funny. If you actually study the price movements of Tao and Kaspa, you see they sort of take turns. We've cleared all this prior resistance here. I got to clean this chart up, but we're all the way up here. Now we have our lower high coming in. I mean, really, things aren't going to pick up until we clear around $700, just above $700. Okay, but and you don't want to chase green here. So it'd be completely healthy if this thing pulled all the way even back to here and then continued to move up, because you got all these higher lows coming in here. So it's really picking up on Tao, and I think it has gained. I think it passed Kaspa. I think it passed Kaspa in market cap ranking for the moment, at least. Yeah, Kaspa's fallen all the way to 27, and Tao has moved right up in front of it. So Kaspa's got to pick up the pace. But if we look at the Tao Kaspa chart, okay, now what this is doing is it's charting Tao against Kaspa. So the question it's asking is, how strong is Tao's USD price action as compared to Kaspa USD price action? You can see we formulated a higher low here, okay? So it's showing relative strength in terms of having a higher low. And now what's going to be really interesting is when we get up to this whole area of resistance in here. Will Tao create a new high against Kaspa in USD, when you compare them USD price-wise, or will it triple top here? It'll be very interesting to see what happens. Let's see what else we can kind of talk about. Guys, I'm waiting for your TA questions to come in here. Oh, H-bar. We're going to take a look at H-bar. Thoughts on why CASPA has lagged against the broader market. So let me answer this question, and then we'll get into H-bar. So the first important point that I want to make, and we'll look at the CASPA chart just so you can kind of get a feel for this. This was something I had drawn out a little while ago. If we look at the weekly, okay, if we look at the CASPA weekly chart, the question is, are we breaking down in price in terms of something that's concerning? No. The answer to that question is no. If you've been in this project for a while and you've paid particular attention to the price action, there have been a lot of days where CASPA has just been kind of floating around, not doing a lot, and the rest of the market's moving. And then there have been a lot of days where the rest of the market has corrected hard and CASPA hasn't corrected as hard, or the market's been running and CASPA's been far outpacing it, or the market's slightly down and CASPA is outpacing it. You have to keep everything into perspective. Just because there's this one moment in time where CASPA's not doing too much and it's not exciting doesn't mean there's anything wrong, okay? The other thing that you can do beyond studying the technicals, you can ask yourself, are we dipping significantly in terms of market cap? Now we're hovering right around 4. Now there's been other projects. FET, ICP has moved up, SUI, Tau. They've all been making moves while CASPA has been remaining relatively flat. But keep in mind, those projects at some point will need to cool off, right? Their indicators, the price action is going to get a little overheated. They're going to need to cool off. Wouldn't be surprised to see CASPA running around the same time and regaining its market share up towards the 20 spot. Again, in my opinion, it's literally just a matter of short time until CASPA flips Litecoin and we're within the top 20. So no concerns at all whatsoever on CASPA. The other thing you can do, which we're not going to look at because we've looked at it at nauseum and there isn't anything new to update, look at the BTC, Ethereum, and Solana pairing charts for CASPA and ask yourself how strong or weak it is. Extremely strong against all three. So no concerns there, my friends. Let's take a look at H-bar. We haven't discussed H-bar in a little while, in a little bit. Why is Cadena? That's interesting. So this is a monthly chart. Now this is really zoomed out, which is great. So this, to me, this big red candle is sort of like an God, Todd coming in with the massive super chat. Super chats are never expected, but always appreciated, kind sir. And we will get to your TA question next. Yes, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. I'm seeing a lot of people tuning in and not a lot of engagement. It helps me out as a content creator coming out live. I do have a 9 to 5, so it's not like I have oodles of spare time to come out here and live stream, trying to help you guys out. And the bonus is, this content, believe it or not, is 100% free. You've got me for 30 minutes of free education. So appreciate that little gesture to just hide the comments and click the thumbs up. Really, I hate asking. But this candle right here, what this spells to me is massive indecision. And the reason I say that is because it's not so much to do with the body here, it's to do with the wicks. You have approximately an equidistant wick to the downside and upside. Massive indecision between approximately 18 cents, wow, much higher than where we're at, and 7 cents, okay? That tells me that that's a massive important range for H-bar. Now, the important thing to keep in mind, and I've signaled it here, and let's reconfirm it. We have higher lows coming in. This was technically a double bottom. This here is a double bottom in relation to October of 23. There are a lot of altcoins, and I think Cardano falls into that bucket where they've been weaker and they've actually formed new lows relative to 2023. I think Cardano is one. We're not going to pull up the chart, but there are charts like that. So the beautiful thing is this chart is still forming higher lows. Now, has the price action underwhelmed and has it not met my expectations? Yes. I would say that I had more hope that this thing would have I wouldn't even say hope. I was anticipating this to perform a little bit stronger. I really am paying a lot more attention to dilution, and we've spent a little bit of time talking about that. But for now, I mean, we just need to clear 6 cents. And I have all the areas of resistance, the major areas of resistance indicated here, Josh. So, again, it's been a bit of a laggard. And I've had to sort of recalibrate my expectations for H-bar. Again, this is one of these projects that ran very hard in 2021. So keeping things very real with you guys, as I always do. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear necessarily. I'm going to tell you what I see in the chart. It's going to be a big test for us to get above 58 cents. Okay. Now, once we start to clear 58 cents, yeah, we could talk about getting up towards that psychological dollar level. I don't think a dollar is off the table, but the current price action to me is not the strongest, and so you have to recalibrate your expectations when that happens. And so that first key area is 58 cents. The other thing you can take a look at, you can also take a look at Fibonacci retracement levels and getting above that golden pocket of 0.6, the 0.618. The 0.618 is right around this area of resistance at 15 cents. Or excuse me, 20 cents. Psychological level of 20 cents. And you can see we also have an area of price confluence at 21 basically and a half cents. So that 20 to 20 and a half cents is going to be a major area. So that is what I got, my friends. Let me see. What do we got? Oh, Todd's coming in with a super chat question on Alchemy Pay, which we have also not discussed in a little while. Probably look at this on a weekly. Now, let's get the Raging Bull indicator off here. Tony the Bull, BTC's proprietary indicator. This is Alchemy Pay. Now, one of the things, again, speaking of, a little bit of a breakdown, and maybe it'll end up being a range deviation, okay? Because I do want to tell you what I see in the chart. Maybe it'll end up being a range deviation. I don't like to see that we fell down below this upward sloping trend line. However, we still have higher highs and higher lows coming in, right? I'm not making things up here. This is literally what the chart is telling us. Higher low, higher low, higher low. The ascending triangle play, by the way, is still in play. I have the target drawn up towards past 24 cents. That is just the technical target. This is an ascending triangle. So we'll have to see if it plays out. Now, the other thing I would point out, the increasing relative strength index is still in play. So you can see the RSI has been building, which is great to see. And we're about to get across on the MACD. Let's see if we can get any bullish divergence. Good. I mean, I haven't even looked at this, but you can clearly see the RSI is increasing as the price was actually going down. So we're getting a little bit of bullish divergence on the lower time frames, which is good to see. But ultimately, Todd, we're going to have to flip this to red. Some of these longer term positions that I've held, I don't necessarily go in and chart pretty frequently. I'm comfortable where I've charted it. Here's the way to state it. I've charted a lot of these enough to know key price levels that unless I see that price level being hit, I'm not really interested in charting it. Same with Caspa, right? Until Caspa clears 20 cents, not really interested in charting it. So, again, key price levels here, Todd. I have them all drawn out for you. You can take a look at them. It's not going to start getting juicy until we get up to 4.4 cents. Remember, one of the most basic concepts in technical analysis, when we hit an area of price confluence multiple times, my question to you is, does it show strength? That's not the way to phrase it. The more times we hit an area of price confluence, whether it's to the upside or the downside, does that area of price confluence become weaker or stronger? The answer is it becomes weaker. It's like taking a jackhammer and hitting it up against the wall. So this third distinct moment in time, we come up to 4.4 cents. I feel highly confident we're going to break it. Not saying we're going to break it instantaneously, but we're going to break it in relatively short order. So that's what I got on Alchemy Pay. Ricky, very good to see you. Juan, good to see you as well. This is what I like. You guys are engaging me with TA questions. This is TA Q&A. It's Tuesday, guys. All right, Tuesdays and Thursdays. This is what we do. I like it. I like it. Look at RVF, not because I care, but because it's a nice example of why the no-no zone is called the no-no. Okay, we'll take a quick look at it. I'm always up for a learning opportunity. I think I made the no-no zone very very popular, unfortunately, with the Casper chart to any Casper holders out there, which I am sorry if you are. That thing has completely fallen apart and will continue to be an underwhelmer until proven otherwise. Yeah, so again, you know, to Juan's point here, he's making a really good point. Let's just keep it on the weekly. This thing's shot up in value, which is great. But the problem is there wasn't much confluence to the downside. There was one right here. As soon as Here was the big warning sign on this chart. The only area of major confluence to the downside was this zone right here. You can see because of all the price confluence here. Once we broke 22 to 21 cents, that was your warning to, if you were in a trade position, to get stopped out or to sell out, right? The only thing holding you up at this point was really, and I want to double touch it, really right there, I would say. So now, because I have a touch here and a touch here, now you can see we're below this line. This 9 cents is going to cause us resistance. Yeah, not good. And again, with something like this, because there's no price confluence to the left, you can't, there's no bullish divergence. You can't look at this and say, well, we have support to latch onto. There's literally no price confluence to the left. So again, similar comments as Casper. Could we have bottomed here? Sure, we might have bottomed, but that's just a guess. Literally, it's not even an educated guess. It's just a guess. This thing could go down another 50%. The last time I said that, Casper went down more than 50%. So just be careful with charts like this. Mantra. Ricky's got a question on Mantra. And I doubt there's a head and shoulders on Casper. Well, we can certainly take a look at it because I always want to be open to what my compadres are seeing, my crypto compadres are seeing in the chart. Now, let me just tell you, this is an example of a beautiful, beautiful uptrend and beautiful chart. Beautiful chart. I just want to point that out to you right now, Ricky. So you did a nice job finding a solid chart here. Areas of price confluence, we're going to put green for support, red for resistance. And if you didn't see my comment at the top of the live stream, guys, make sure to drop your TA questions into the comments because that is the name of the game for today. Of course, we also have downward resistance that I don't need to draw. And we'll draw another area of support right about there. Okay, so we have a few areas of support. I like it right there. Okay, you got your 87 cents, 66, and 58, 57.5. Okay, areas of resistance, pretty straightforward. It's just this, is this an all-time high? Just about. Now, this is, this is one of these charts, and we might have looked at this before, although we didn't have anything drawn on the chart. Maybe it was on a different exchange, but you can see massive downtrend. A lot of these, like Flare is a great example. Flare was looking like a dumpster fire, and then it had a V-shaped recovery. Since then, it's been bleeding pretty bad. But if you put this maybe on a 2-week, you can't draw the falling wedge. No, you can't. If we put it on a monthly, I'm just curious. Yeah, then you can. Yeah, so depending what time frame you look at, I mean, we had a falling wedge on the monthly. Do we have any bullish divergence? Building up there. Yeah, we did. So, beautiful uptrend that we're in right now. I mean, the name of the game is to live stream issues. Not seeing anything there. really, Ricky, the name of the game is to hold these areas of support here and then break out above a buck 40. I mean, essentially what's going to happen, because there's really not a lot of price confluence. When you look left, there's one bar, okay? When we break a buck 40, there is a possibility we could have a blue sky breakout. And what's above us at above $1.40? What is above us? The psychological level of $2. So I would anticipate some sort of resistance around 2. Maybe we break 2. These are very volatile assets. Maybe it hits 210 or 211 and pulls back. Maybe it hits a buck 93 and pulls back. But I would suspect $2, because it's a psychological level, nice round figure, that's going to provide us with an area of resistance. Okay. Question. Yeah, and they might be. The real world tokens might be, RWA tokens might be something to pay attention to, but I mean, at this point, especially given when I think this market's going to top, my positions are my positions. I'm not looking to start fumbling around with what I hold. Caspa. So a concern was brought up. Are we forming a head and shoulders on Caspa? What are you seeing, my friend, that I'm not seeing? I don't initially see it. Caspa head and shoulders on the weekly. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing a head and shoulders. I'm not. So if I saw it, you guys know at this point, I call a spade a spade. If I saw a head and shoulders here, I'd point it out. I do not see it. But thank you. I mean, guys, even if I disagree with something that you see in the chart, or if you think you see something, bring it up. Like, we can have a discussion. We can either agree to disagree, or I can evaluate it and perhaps get you to think about it differently, or maybe you can get me to think about it differently. That's how value is created. This is how education works. It's a give and take, guys, okay? I understand I am the teacher here, but you can teach me things too. You got to be open to that stuff. I don't know everything, you know. Charting, I mean, when you really think about this, and DT, I see you're in the comments, man. Really good to see you. Always happy to see my longest supporter of the channel on here. What was I going to say? You know, you think about this. I'm never going to be an expert on technical analysis. I'm never going to be an expert. I've been doing technical analysis since 2016. That's only 8 years. I've been a practicing actuary, or at least working a combination of being in. You're not an actuary until you get credentialed as an actuary, which, judging by the wall, was 2008. So, but I've worked in the actuarial field for, Jesus Christ, this dates me. I've been working in the actuarial field for just over 20 years. But just because I've worked in the actuarial field for just over 20 years doesn't make me an expert, okay? There's plenty of people that know more things than me and are more intelligent and more gifted. So you always have to keep that perspective. Stay humble and hungry. Good morning, CBG. Well, good morning, kind sir. Nothing like having a glass of wine on a Tuesday morning, right? Or I guess it's Wednesday morning there. Closed a position. Okay, so I'm assuming that was a trade position. A while back at 18 cents after riding it from... Oh, nice. Very nice. What price level would you feel comfy with to get into a long again? Great question. Great question. I love it. No worries, Ricky. This is why we're here, to learn from one another. So don't feel bad about that one bit. Let's see. What price level would be good to buy Caspa at? This is a really great question. Now, the first observation I want to make to you, DT, one of the things that I've pointed out is anytime on the weekly, historically, okay, anytime we've been under the blue line, which is literally just the 10 simple moving average on a weekly. Again, there isn't a lot of price data here. Anytime we've been in there, it depends on your time horizon, but if you're patient, okay? And you're saying along. So anytime you're under the 10 simple moving average, it's represented a great buying opportunity, okay? So right now, where are we? We're under the 10 simple moving average. So that alone, the 10 simple moving average is at 16.5 cents. We're at 16.1. That's telling me right now, without doing any other chart analysis, right now represents a great longing opportunity. But let's refine this a little bit more, because what you might want to do is you might want to establish a position by scaling in, right? Let's say you have, I don't know, $10,000, right? You may want to stick 4 in at one level, 4 in at one level, and 2 in at another level, or however you're doing it, right? So, which, by the way, I think is very smart. So let's try to figure this out together. Let me think about how I want to do this. So we know on the higher time frame chart, it's a buy opportunity. Is maybe there's something on the daily. Yes. The 200 simple moving average looks like a great area. So one of the things one of the things that you have to appreciate about this chart is there's not a ton of price data, right? We only go back to 2022. Oh, wow. Okay, for some reason I thought it was 21, but yeah, no, it's 22. And you can see every time, DT, we touch the 200 simple moving average on the daily, what did we do? Now, it's not to say we can't go under it, but we've ridden, once we've touched there, we've ridden up, right? Okay, here we wicked below it and we rode up, and here we wicked below it and rode up, and now we're starting to come down to that 200. So I would absolutely identify the 200 simple moving average on the daily for CASPA as a prime opportunity to buy in. Now let's also see if that lines up with any price confluence. So if we were to identify any price confluence on the daily, that's a nice area right there. DT, I'm going to give you some good specifics here, so hang tight. I'm going to give you again, and you know this, but I have to preface this. I'm not giving you financial advice, right? You know on this channel we don't do that. That's just silly. And I go just above. One of the things that I've commonly stated to you guys, if you're looking to buy at a price level, a moving average is a great example. You want to front run the smart money, okay? So if you think we could come down to this 200 SMA, there's always the possibility you won't perfectly hit the 200 SMA. There's also a possibility you could go through it. But what I would do is I would set a buy limit order to be slightly in front of it. It's at 15.15 cents. I'd set it at 15.35 cents, okay? So that's this zone here. So what I would do if I were in your position and I was looking to establish a long in CASPA, I would probably divide it up into thirds. And what I would do is, given we're under the 10 simple moving average on the weekly, a third of my position would already be established at current levels. I really would not wait for any further of a pullback. My next third, and this is based on your risk tolerance, my next third would be anywhere in here, and my last third would be in here. Now, obviously, if you start to see some developments in the chart and you think we've bottomed here or we've bottomed here, you have to revise that. But that's where I would set my buy limit orders. I hope that's helpful. So it looks like a third currently, where we're at, another third between 15.35 cents and 14.7 cents, and the other third below 14.7 cents and as low as 14.3 cents. That's what I would do. That is what I would do, my friend. I hope that was helpful. Life question. Guys, I think we're going to take this life question, then we're going to sign out, and I'll be back here tomorrow for a normal TA day, a non-TA Q&A day. You are clearly a profitable, I wouldn't say trader, I would say investor, not trader. I don't want to fool anyone here. Why have you decided to remain in your actuary field instead of, oh my God, instead of full-time trading or investing? Will you remain actuary post-bull? First off, hesitant to answer this question because I don't know if this is someone who actually somehow caught on to my content that works in my career field. Let me get to DT's comment and then I'll respond. Glad to hear your take. I have a limit order set at 15, but may adjust the layer bids. Yeah, I would layer them, my friend. Always happy to help you out. You're a great supporter. Here's what I would say, real SR. Two thoughts. One is I enjoy what I do, and especially after changing job positions. I think this was pretty evident on a CBG podcast that I did recently on stress, which I got a lot of nice positive feedback on. So I'll look to try to do something similar again. But for the first time in my 20-year career, I was reporting to who I would consider a tyrant. My former boss at my last company was an asshole. He was just, there's no other way to put it. He was an asshole. And on top of my surgery, on top of the cancer diagnosis, on everything else, this guy was a living nightmare. And he was impacting my personal life. He was impacting my physical well-being. And it was a rough situation to be in. I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. Horrible person. And so I have a new position. I've been working there for a few months. It's only been a few months, but I really enjoy who I work with. I really do. And I enjoy what I do. It's a nice change up. I've always enjoyed my career field. So to answer your question, first off, for me to make a change in terms of time allocated to my career field, I would have to make a significant amount of capital. Significant, okay? You know I'm a number cruncher. So the first thing is I'd have to make a significant amount of capital. The second thing is, and I feel very strongly about this, when I do ultimately feel like I get to a point where I'm truly financially independent, I never want to retire, right? So I always want to be busy. I want to be contributing positively to society, helping other people, bettering myself, helping to better other people. And to that I would say, for the time being, and the chapter at some point in my life will close, but for the time being, I enjoy working in the actuarial field. So even if at some point I transition to a part-time, role, or even my current position, if that's possible, yeah, I could see that. But leaving full-time employment, it's a little daunting for multiple reasons. I've been doing it for 20 years. I don't know. I would have to make more money than I could even imagine, because when you actually start crunching numbers, for me to feel comfortable to walk away from a full-time lucrative, I make very good money. For me to walk away from a lucrative job field like that, which I've also worked so hard at to get my credentials, and I enjoy doing, it would take a lot. So I think the more prudent thing would be, I think transitioning to part-time at some point would make sense. But when you genuinely enjoy what you do, which I do, I have a pretty reasonable degree of flexibility with my job. It's engaging. It's providing me opportunities to learn new things. I wouldn't want to give that up so easily. So, great question, though. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off there and make my barramundi and sautéed spinach and Brussels sprouts. And I will let you go. A little avocado, too, I think. I'm going to throw a little lemon marinade on the barramundi. All right, guys, I'll see you back here tomorrow. Until next time, let's all spread awareness and carry the education forward. Take care. Good to see you. Great questions today, by the way.